How was it? What was it like doing this exercise?
It really made you think. Like, I'm thinking more in tune with minds now. Like, how do I get there? Like, what things I need to put in place to get there? Like, that kind of thing. Like, what are some factors or some barriers that will prevent me from getting there? How do I adjust to that? How does that make me feel?
Mhm.
It's interesting you say that, Antonio, because there's uh, a train of thought that says for success, or I guess goal setting, it's really about um, identifying those roadblocks or those impediments and setting goals around those specific things.
Mhm.
Because that's really what's to overcome, because then that will free. That's what some
Mhm.
the word's not train of thoughts. That's some thinking in terms of being, successful, right? It's around the things that get in the way, and it's knowing yourself around that. So
Mhm.
I would say for me in going through this process, one, I am grateful for the strategy work that I was invited to go through last year in a variety of different spaces. So it had me thinking about what success looks like. And then also just the growth of understanding just that there are specific habits and behaviors and practices that I want, right? And I think that's key for me. And I don't know if I've ever really thought about it that way, like myself. Normally I'm prompted, right, to say, oh, what habits, practice, whatever. But it was like, for me, success was really more of like, how am I being? How am I moving? What am I embodying? And that was a new, that normally doesn't just come to me in thinking. So that was a new experience for this exercise.
Mhm.
And I thank you for that, because for me, of all the massive journaling and reflection and goal setting and all the things I put in motion, um, and have gone through, not just in 22, but really intentionally over the last 30 days, I never attached the word success to it. Um, I had many other words and phrases I was using. So success, I like success because it takes me to it makes me connect intimately with my why.
And even finding the time to evaluate the success. Like, how do you do that? Like, finding the time. I know when a lot of times for me, you set goals and you get into the motion and you get to back to the everyday life and doing things, the schedule, back to your routine, but actually finding time to carve out time to, check in to see where I'm at, or what's been some holding blocks for me getting there, or re-strategizing, or those kind of things. So finding the time to just look, going back to look at what you set forth in the beginning and seeing where you at, sometimes it's a barrier for me.
For me, the like defining success and like articulating goals is less of the challenge. For me, the learning edge is like saying my success and personal goals out loud to other people. Like usually I'm very like protective of those things. So it's like defining it for myself is like an okay internal journey for me usually. And I'm usually like really good about it. But saying it out loud requires a certain level of like confidence and bravery that is different from just journaling it and being like, all right, thank you, moving on. So like the sharing part was where the like edge was for me. But I think that it like made me think about just like what I said, which is moving in confidence and being in tune with my intuition and protecting my energy, right? Like how am I embodying that and practicing that in like teeny tiny ways along the way, and not just like the big moving with confidence image that I feel like is usually sort of associated with that, like the public speaking and the number of people. Like a lot of times exercising what success looks like is like teeny tiny, like day-to-day type action. So this exercise showed me that.
Yeah, I got in my feels when they were like, Asal, write it down. I was like, if you write it, that's it, right? Accountability. I was
Well,
like,
it's not technically it. It's not over.
you know what I mean, it's not, nothing's ever
I
over.
know. It's like, it's on
Right.
paper.
But yeah, I like this, Natasha. I really think it would be helpful periodically during certain times throughout, as we go through the year, that we revisit these and kind of open up discussion on, things that are keeping us from hitting those goals we said. Like, do we need to re-strategize, those kind of things as we progress through the year. But this was a really good exercise.
Yeah. Is it okay if we keep these here on
Yeah.
our agenda
Yes.
as reminders?
Keep them here. Sorry, my brain went operations quick. Keep them here like weekly, or keep them here. What do you mean keep them here?
It's just static, like how it's
Like
just,
ongoing,
yeah, it just stays on there.
week to week.
Yeah,
So
like how
I would recommend putting this in a separate Google Doc, and it is a hyperlink that we can get to, right?
Okay.
Just because then it kind of shortens the document, but it's like you can click into it and see with each of the names it's there. It's, so that's what I was thinking. Just a suggestion.
How do
But
folks feel?
I think having what I've seen done in meetings, and this might be a monthly thing or something like that, that we build into the agenda, that on a monthly basis, we always come back and do an open reflection with one another. So here's what you wrote again. What does success mean? Look at what you wrote previously. You can keep it. So just go through the same thing and just reflect on where we're at. I think that would be a really cool thing to do every single month. Just to just make sure, because a lot of these are such personal goals and ways of being. We're kind of being accountability partners in community with one another, and just the social contract of coming back to this each month might be really helpful.
Mhm.